Hey everybody, we are just going to do a quick test of our stream, make sure we are connected to you. So if you can see us and hear us, go ahead and type into the chat. And we are actually looking today at the chat on the YouTube channel. So if you are watching us on Ustream, do yourself a favor and check us out over on our YouTube Guitar Gathering page. That'll be the page that's much easier to maneuver. Also, if you could make sure, and David, that we can see the bottom of the chat there so I can see if people are doing there. See you and hear you, they say. All right. All right, it's going to be a great live lesson. We will be back with you in about 15 minutes. Hang on to your hats. This is going to be a fun one. We will see you guys in 15 minutes. Hey everybody, welcome to Live Lessons. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz. We are coming at you live from Nashville, Tennessee, from Gruen Guitars, vintage guitar, capital of the world. It's going to be a great night. We've got a very special guest that we're going to get going with here in a little bit. And but to get us started off with, if you can, type in where you're from and where I'm already seeing some folks do that. Erin, Ontario, Canada. Very good to see you. Denver, Arkansas, Milwaukee, Salt Lake City, Edmonton, Alberta, Peyton, Colorado, Edmonds, Washington, Jonesville, Michigan, Boulder, Petaluma, California, Beaumont, Texas. Hey, that's a good one. Tom, Elaine in Montreal, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Rockville, Maryland, another one from Beaumont, Texas, Jupiter, Florida, Joliet, Illinois, all kinds of great, and Lily from Australia. Good to see you, Lily. Glad you made it. What are you doing? Isn't it like 2 in the morning there where you're at? So glad that you could all make it with us. I'm just going to get us started off with, I'm going to be playing this beautiful 335 that we just pulled off the wall here at Gruen's. This is a Gibson Custom Shop ES335 1959 reissue. This could be yours for a mere $4,200. This could be yours. So let me first mention, hey, we are officially making the transition away from Ustream. So if you guys are watching us at our normal Ustream location, right now, stop and go over to the Guitar Gathering YouTube page where we are streaming there. That's where we're going. You'll notice on the Ustream, we're starting to downgrade that. You're going to see advertisements and things like that. So where everybody's going is the Guitar Gathering YouTube page. So go over to YouTube and check out our stream there. It's exactly the same thing. You should be seeing us. And there you go. So check us out over there. Subscribe while you're there. To get us started off with, I'm just going to play On the Sunny Side of the Street, since that's kind of a good go-to song that I can play at any point in time. So, all right, here's a little bit of Sunny Side of the Street. There you go. A little bit of On the Sunny Side of the Street to get us started off with an awful lot of reverb. I should have checked my reverb before we get going here. Let me lower that a little bit there. has a little bit more reverb than a human should have. Reverb is kind of one of those things, if you hear it, it's too much. If you just kind of sense it, that's where you want it. Hey, let me introduce you to a wonderful new friend that we have with us tonight, David Varnado. David, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
What a treat to have you here. This is the first time that we've actually met. I don't know how I initially came across your Facebook page.
Yes, sir.
But was thrilled to kind of see all the wonderful things that you do. And David is an award-winning fiddle player and currently lives, you're from Port Arthur, right?
From Port Arthur, Texas. Yes, sir.
From
Born and raised there.
Born and raised. And you drove there from there yesterday.
Yes, sir. I came in. Actually, I got your phone call from the Gruen Company here and asking me to come in and be a part. You guys heard I was coming to town, and I want to tell you, thank you very, very much for having me here.
Oh, it's an honor to
be with you folks. Thank you all for having me. It's a great, great, great atmosphere here.
It is going to be a little bit different night tonight. Literally, I was sitting last night doing some work, and I was on Facebook, and it was about 9 o'clock at night, and I saw that David had put up that he was, hey, I'm coming to Nashville if anybody wants to get together in Nashville. So I Facebook messaged him at 9 o'clock last night. I already had a whole nother live lesson planned, and I don't know how you texted and Facebook and sent me links and all kinds of stuff, and you're on your way traveling here, but
I am the biggest network person you'll ever meet. I don't know a musician that's not always looking for the next gig. You've got to network.
That's right.
Feed the family.
Well, that is right. You have had such an amazing career. Started off in Texas, and then when did you first move to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville here. I was here, I guess, about 91, 92.
Yeah.
Somewhere right in there. I was here before that. A famous fiddle player by the name of Rufus Thibodeau brought me here.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to know this name, several hits with RCA Records back in the early 90s, Joel Saunier.
Yeah.
He brought me here and just started getting around and getting to know people, and it led to different things for me in the music industry. And I want to say I love Nashville. I like everything they're doing. Just wish they had a little bit more fiddle and steel guitar on stuff.
That's right. There's back in the kind of the previous wonderful generations of country, you always had this fiddle, or in the Bob Wills days, you had the three fiddles.
Yes, sir.
Sort of a thing, and it is a very wonderful, unique sound. We have never had that on the show, and so I'm really thrilled to be able to introduce our crew to some of that stuff.
I have always been a person that likes harmony.
Yeah.
And we'll show you some things that I invented here. So this is not on the market. I'm looking for a good distributor, but we'll go through and show some things. But I'm a big harmony person. I like fiddles. I like one fiddle, but what's better than one fiddle? Two fiddles, three fiddles, four fiddles, five fiddles.
And in lieu of having 3, 4, or 5 violinists, David has created this harmonizer that just sounds amazing. So let's play a little bit just to kind of get us in there. David has played with Johnny Paycheck. You were with him for a while. You played with Vince Gill and the Time Jumpers.
Loretta Lynn.
Loretta Lynn. I saw lots of clips with you and Loretta Lynn.
Trick Pony.
Really?
I worked with those groups for, I guess, right at about a year. I guess worked with them. I'm a native of Nashville, and I love Nashville, and Nashville's been good to me.
Yeah.
And I worked for Chris Ledoux for about 4.5 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Great boss.
Yeah.
Several other ones. You know, you're in and out. You help this one out, but I've been in and out of Nashville and worked for a lot of the Nashville artists most of all my life.
Good, good. Let's. We had messed around with a couple of things before we got started. Let's do. You want to try All of Me?
We can do that.
We literally have gone through this stuff less than a minute, so we're going to kind of both find our way through.
A?
C.
C, okay. What fun!
Yes.
What, my goodness, this guy is absolutely incredible. My amp volume okay, guys?
I think we're all right. Let us know if we need to change something.
Turn down or anything?
All right. Good. Fantastic. All right. Well, tell us a little bit. This is a guitar crowd, so
yes.
Tell us a little bit about. Well, let's go back in history a little bit. Bob Wills. We kind of grew up in our household with that sound. The Texas Playboys and Eldon Shamblin on guitar.
Definitely.
But they had the violin as part of that sound with all of their great songs. That's probably that's the first group that I was familiar with that had that sound in it.
That's where I fell in love with twin fiddles.
Yeah.
Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. I had an old 78, about 3 or 4 that my dad had. Sat back and was able to play them on a turntable, and just fell in love with just about everything, right or wrong. Just how are they doing that, you know?
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier Rufus Thibodeau.
Yeah.
He played with Bob Wills.
Yeah.
And he was one of my fiddle teachers. And when I got to be about 12 years old, I started taking fiddle lessons from Rufus. And I had nobody to show me. My dad was a fiddle player, but just around the house, he's the one I taught that taught me how to play. But to get actually over to the other side, Rufus Thibodeau showed me this is what they're doing. He showed me all of my harmony parts.
Now, he's from Port Arthur?
Rufus Thibodeau is from Hayes, Louisiana, which is right outside Lake Charles, Louisiana. But he called Lafayette, Louisiana home.
Yeah.
Great Western swing, great Cajun fiddle player. And he took me under his wing, and like I say, him and Joel both brought me to Nashville here, but taught me all of my parts.
Yeah.
He's dead now, but had some great Bob Wills stories.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And since then, you've had such an amazing career. You've played on the Grand Ole Opry. You've been part of the Academy of Country Music Awards, ACM Awards,
yes,
nominated for Fiddle Player of the Year.
Yes, sir. I've had a great year.
As recently as last year, I think, did I read on that? Yes.
I was nominated by the ACM in 2001 and 2017. Didn't get it. Aubrey Haney beat me out one time. That's okay, though. We're still friends.
Well, wonderful. So your role in a kind of a Western swing or country band, your role is really you kick off intros, you
Sure.
fill a little bit. Occasionally you might have a solo, but you're really more offsetting the vocals.
I am, and I want to add this to you. Johnny Gimble was a fiddle teacher of mine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a Johnny Gimble.
So you knew Johnny?
Yes, very well.
Wow.
I took lessons from him, and one thing that he always taught me, and I do this in any band I ever get in. I'm not the star. I'm there to help the singer paint a picture.
Very much
If
so.
it's happy,
Yeah.
let's play happy.
Yeah.
If it's a sad song, let's play sad.
Yeah.
But you're there to paint a picture for whatever story the singer. And that's one of the biggest things Johnny Gimble
Yeah.
mentioning to me.
Yeah.
You're a side guy.
Yeah.
Always remember that.
It's a how do I put that? It's a mindset that you have to be in. You're very important. You're very needed. A good accompanist, a good side person
Yes, sir.
can make a singer, can make a song sound just like it's supposed to be. Make it sound right.
And for me, if you really want that great sound, a fiddle and a steel guitar.
That's right. That's right.
To me, that's what sets a band. And I want to let you know, I am a fan of all types of music.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it, but coming from a fiddle player, I like Metallica. I try to copy all the guitar licks I could get a hold of, you know.
Yeah.
But I do like all types of music. But yeah, I play fiddle, I play mandolin, I play acoustic guitar. But my first love is this instrument. Anything to do with fiddles, I like it.
Well, let's get started and play a couple of things. As you guys have questions out there as you're watching the show, please put those in all caps, whether it be on the YouTube chat or on the Ustream chat. We're trying to monitor both, but the YouTube is we're paying a little bit more attention to because that's what we have up here. If you can, please type them in all caps, and our producers will put that up, and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. David had sent me a list of songs with the typical intros for fiddle, violin, same instrument. Some people ask me, "Was fiddle, is that the same as violin?" Exactly the same, just kind of the country way of saying it.
A violin, you ask for hors d'oeuvres. A fiddle, you ask for cornbread.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I must admit my Texasness is kicking in just in preparing for all this sort of stuff. You had mentioned several songs to get us started off with. What would you like to show and illustrate?
I'd like to do, these songs are mostly all twin fiddle kickoffs, but I'd like to do an old Fair and Young number called Wind Me Up.
Okay.
And that normally has 2-3 fiddles on it.
Okay.
And this is coming from my machine that I built. And I'll be honest with you, this will be 3 fiddles.
Okay.
This will be a third above and a fifth below in harmony.
Wow.
Really, really fat sound.
So you're going to hear 3. He's only playing 1, and the machine is doing the rest.
Doing it. I built this thing about 20 years ago, and it's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
It's patented. And let me know if somebody's interested in wanting to market this thing, because I'm sure looking for somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Again.
In the key of G.
Key of G. We'll go through some kickoffs and talk a little bit. That way we're not boring a lot of people with a bunch of, I guess, solos and whatever else.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Fair and Young number, Wind Me Up. Ready? 3, 4, 1, 2.
I wish I could keep up with you better on that stuff.
That's okay.
Wonderful. That typical 3/4 dun dun dun.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that is such the characteristic sound for all of that. We already have a couple of great questions. Randy Payment is saying, "Tell us about your fiddle. How's it tuned? Do you always play with a bow?"
The tune is the fiddle is actually tuned A440, EADG.
EADG.
Yep.
So completely in fourths.
It's completely in fourths, and always use a bow.
Always use a bow.
Always. Sometimes you can pluck on it, but
for this style, it's pretty much
yeah. And
now tell us about that particular instrument.
This fiddle right here, I've got some really old fiddles, but I brought some that I don't travel really with some of my great fiddles, but this fiddle here is year 1721.
1721.
Yeah, and it's a
that is so. Guitars, we get old. Violins, you get into violins, they get very, very old. So this instrument has been around
a long time,
since the 1700s.
Yes, sir. I have another one sitting over there that's $18.95.
Absolutely.
And I've got
amazing.
some older ones at home and some things that some people's given me, and I don't parade about it. It was just really famous people that's given me a few things.
Now, where was this made?
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia.
Mm-hmm. It's a Czech fiddle. Czech.
Absolutely amazing. What kind of pickup do you have in it?
I actually have an LR Baggs in here.
Yep.
It's works well with me, and of course we got the Carpenter pickup. Fred Carpenter here is a local repair guy.
Where is physically the pickup?
Right inside here. There's
On the
wires
back
all
side
through
of-
here.
Or
It's all embedded up into the wood.
okay, I got you. Okay. Can you just play just a couple little
Sure.
single lines or something like that? We can just kind of hear how that sounds. And then add some of the harmonizer
All right.
to it.
The tracking on this thing, there's not a flutter in it.
No, it is right down the money. Colin Hill is saying, how does the pickup on a violin work? Well, it's picking up it's in this part of the tailpiece there.
Yes, sir.
And it is picking up the vibrations of the strings. So as the strings are vibrating, they are going right over that pickup.
Exactly.
And it is sensing that, and then it has to go through a little bit of electronics and EQ to make it sound, I think, dry out of that. I know on an acoustic guitar, it's very harsh. It's very
All right.
brittle
I'll
sound.
show you. Let me show you.
Yeah.
All right.
So without the EQ,
Nothing.
it sounds like this. Still not a bad sound. It's not bad.
That's a great fiddle.
It's a great sounding instrument.
Thank you very much. I'm very particular about what I play, but my better instruments are at home. But I take pride in what I pull on the road with me. It's
Yeah.
got my name on it. You know, I want to say this to you. I've had somebody come up and I've pulled on some great fiddles I've got at home, and I've had some questions, and something may come up here with you folks out there. But I've had some people ask me, what kind of fiddle is that? And I tell them, you know, and I got to be careful what I say. You got people that'll walk off with something if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you want to come out here to a club or a concert and bring that expensive instrument? Let me answer the question. Would you want a carpenter to come build your house with the lesser tools because you feel he shouldn't bring them on a job because somebody might take them away from him?
That's right.
It's got my name on it.
It was made to make music.
And when I said that, they were, okay, I got you. I totally understand. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I try to bring the best because it's got my name on it, and I want to produce the best.
That's right. That's right. We did this show with Greg Voros a couple of weeks ago. One of the things that Greg was saying is that as you're working on an instrument, you got to realize that this instrument will have a life way beyond you. And of all the clubs and of all the music that's made out of that instrument, you, speaking as a repairman, as Greg was saying, you need to have such respect when you handle the instrument, because the last thing you want is that ding, that scratch in the top. Even though this thing has seen 1,000 gigs and recording sessions and clubs and made music, you don't want that to come from just you being careless with the instrument as a repairman. Even more so, you can't keep it. The instrument was made to make music. You can't keep it underneath a glass.
No, you can't. And let me say this to you. Same way with the guitar, a lot of these other guitars. And I really found this out years ago, but even with this fiddle, I got this fiddle not too long ago, and it had been sitting in a shop for 8 years. You know, wood has pores in it.
Yeah.
And the guy told me, play on this thing, it should open up. It's been sitting for 8 years with no vibrations going through it at all. I played on it about 3 months. It was great sound, One day, I played 2 sets, went to pick it up, and it completely mellowed down.
Yeah.
It just opened up.
Yeah.
The pores opened up. It's been that way. I've had this thing, I guess probably about a year and a half maybe.
Let's play something else.
Okay.
What else you want to do?
What do you want to do? Let's do this. You know what? This is a dear close friend that passed away. I worked for Johnny Paycheck for a few years.
Yep.
And we'll do something I used to kick off with him called Slide Off Your Satin Sheets.
Slide off your satin sheets. All
and
right.
This will be in the key of A. And he actually loved this machine because he liked twin fiddles. He played with Faron Young and George Jones and
Okay. And this is the intro to that classic Johnny Paycheck song.
Slide Off Your Satin
Slide
Sheets.
off your satin sheets.
Here we go. Key of A. 3, 4, 1, 2. I want to do something. Let me show you the difference on this thing. I'd like to run 2 fiddles on so y'all can hear the difference.
Great.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Let me run up here to my program here and do we'll do let's see how this is going to work.
A couple of questions I can answer while you're
Sure.
getting fixed up there. Michael Keese is saying, does the fiddle use the same tuning as violin?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. It's just a different style of playing. John Sikora is saying, are the sound holes covered to keep it from feeding back?
Very.
And the short
very
answer
much so.
is yes.
Yes. And let me say this to you about that. I know some people that have really frowned about putting, this is electrical tape on here, and you got to watch it because it will take the varnish off. But you can put sponge in here.
Yep,
it's not going to clear it up. If you work next to a bass player that's, you know, he's running 300 watts on an amp,
Yep.
and I'm running an amp that's 200 and something, 225. I can't keep up with that guy.
Yep.
And he's rattling all my fiddle, my strings. I got overtones going and the whole bit. And I actually, there's 2 layers of electrical tape on here. I hate doing it. I know I've got a lot of expensive instruments, but I've tried the sponge. It does not work.
You play in such loud environments sometimes. Very difficult for instruments with soundboards like that, acoustic guitars, mandolins, things like that, violins.
Right.
If you're playing with bands, of which you always are, well, you got to think that stage is pretty loud most of the time.
Yes,
playing
exactly.
a club, that stage is putting out some volume.
What'd you say?
And so you have to think about feedback. Feedback is a constant issue that you have to work with. Let's see, Alex is saying, do you have to transpose on the fly when a guitar player says the key?
No.
Because you're a concert instrument. So you know, when I say in the key of C, you're in the key of C.
I'm in the key of C.
Unlike a trumpet player, which is he has to think in a different key when you're doing a concert pitch. But we're all in concert pitch here. But the harmonizer, that is according to preset keys.
Right.
So
and I can, when I built this thing, I laid down all of the majors, minors, flats, sharps, and diminished sevenths all the way up to scales. So as long as I know what the 1 is, would be the root key, put that in here, and I'm good to go.
Most of the time, in this style, you're going to be dealing with chords that are fairly diatonic. 1s, 5s, 4s, 2s, 6 minors, things like that. Occasionally you'll run across a 2 dominant 7th. You know, like if in the key of C you'll see a D7. Occasionally you'll have to do that, and then you would have to kind of manually flip that real quick to get that off so it doesn't go minor on you. But other than that, it would keep up pretty good, I would think.
Yes, sir.
What's another thing that we can play for them?
Let's do. I wanted to do the 2 fiddles here. Let's do the Slide Off My Satin Sheets again, so we can, because we have a comparison.
Good. Let's do the intro a couple times.
All right.
Okay.
3, 4, 1, 2. That's just 2 fiddles. I really and truly, to be honest with you, I like two fiddles, but I like a second above and a fifth below.
Yeah.
It's a lot warmer than
Yeah.
most of the other stuff in here.
Can you play even just like maybe that intro, and just show us the difference between playing it solo, with 2 violins or 3 violins? Just a difference. In
All
the
right,
sound.
let me do that real quick for you.
And I won't play, so that way you can hear. And can you turn your amp? We're having some problems with your keeping up with your amp. Can you turn your amp down just a
Okay,
hair?
sure.
All right. So that intro just with the solo violin
Right.
is,
Like this here?
Sounds like this. And now with 2 violins. What is the second part doing? It almost sounds fuller. Almost sounds like there's a whole lot of violins in there. What is that second part? Where's it at? In the
It's
mix?
at a third above.
A third above
Yes.
your notes. In harmony, though.
In harmony.
In the key.
Yes.
So sometimes it's major third, sometimes minor third.
In harmony.
What about a three
Watch this.
fiddle part?
All right, I'll do that for you right now. Here we go in the key of A.
So that one you have the third above
Right?
and the fifth below
Fifth
you.
below.
So you've got all 3 voices of the chord.
I run that. This is my favorite setting.
Yeah.
That's what I always run.
Now, we had a question there. It will take any instrument, like it could take a guitar.
Sure.
You could run my guitar through
Sure.
there? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have to go through your amp.
Yes.
So let me grab this without falling over.
Yep. And I just recently put. I'll tell you what we'll do. Not pull out of there, and I'll give you
Only
this.
yours? Okay, good.
I just recently put lead guitar in this thing about 6 months ago. Okay, what do you want? What key do you want to play in, and what do you?
Let's say the key of G, maybe.
All right, give me a little bit. How are you guys?
Is that enough volume for you guys?
Okay.
Good.
What key you want to get in?
Just G.
All right.
G.
All right. Here we go.
That's not too bad.
That's 3 parts.
Yeah, with chords it gets
Yeah.
too
You
complex.
Can't do too many double
too many
stops.
voices, but
You can do some.
Now,
That sounds great.
I turned it on to the
Sure.
treble pickup here just to kind of give maybe even a steel
And
guitar sound.
I just invented these parts about 6 months ago for this, so. Now, something I want to mention.
That is really cool.
It's beautiful. If I say so myself, I built it. Let me say this to you. I've got a deal that I put in here a few years back, and I can actually separate the harmonies.
Okay.
And I can put in how hot I want the harmonies.
Okay.
So will you want to do something? Let me ask you, do you want more harmony? You want less harmony? What do you want?
Just play around with it. See what we got.
All right. More harmony. That's the bottom fifth. And the third above. The fifth is hotter than the third above.
Yeah.
All right, let's come back down to earth. All right. There's just the first part. I'll bring up the harmonies again. Very lightly in the back. A little more heavier. That's at 60%. Now the harmonies are above the first part. Back to 42%. Yeah, bend some notes. It bends in tune. Try that
that's
again.
Really good. That's tricky on a harmonizer.
Do it.
Now, if I go out of the key of G, it's still going to be harmonized in the key of G, so it's going to sound weird. Although that didn't sound good.
No, that's in intervals. I've got it in intervals. It will work in intervals.
Well, see now, so that went to F. When I went to E flat, it really freaked out because
okay,
that's
watch
too much
now.
coming.
I put a baritone guitar in here for you. For jazz stuff.
Wow, that sounds cool.
For some jazz stuff.
Nice.
What else you want to play?
Nice.
Run away with it if you want.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's take a break for a second here from all of the fun. We have a lot of questions to get to. We'll let David catch his breath for just a moment. Wow, that is really cool. That is some cool things. Let's give something away. We got through last week's show, and I didn't give away everything I wanted to give away. So we're going to give away all kinds of stuff tonight. From our good friends over at DR Strings, we're going to give away some Veritas acoustic strings. This is their light, I believe, phosphor bronze. The winner of this is John Sikora. John, thank you so much for being part of our guitar family. Send us your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com, and we will get you a brand new set of strings, 12 to 54, from our good friends over at DR Strings. Greg, our wonderful friend here at Grunes, is one of their great spokespeople of that. So we love our friends over at over at DR Strings. Let me mention, if you are not part of our Guitar Gathering discussion board, we have a new discussion board forum at guitargathering.com/community. So we had our old discussion board, the Learn and Master discussion board. Now we've got a brand new one, all kinds of great things over there. We've got videos. We're going to, in the next week or so, be able to watch the live lesson and catch the stream of it over there. All kinds of great tips and things, and there's a chat going all the time. I think we had 400 people last week. We had 475, I think, when I checked it this morning. So, yeah, there's a lot more people all the time. It is a great place to hang out and talk about guitar. You know, I'm on a lot of guitar discussion boards, and what I like about ours, usually you get just a bunch of loudmouths, people over there cussing and being mean to folks on discussion boards. And that's not what our guitar family is about. So if you're looking for encouragement, information, some support as you're going through your guitar learning journey, go ahead and sign up over there, and lots of great folks there. Keep up with all the information that we have. When I do live lessons, I'll put up the PDFs and things over on that discussion board now. So check it out. It's all free. We've got our Guitar Gathering Conference, 2018 conference, coming up in June, right here in Nashville, June 20th through the 23rd. We're going to have Musicians Hall of Fame guitarist Will McFarlane, Phil Keaggy, legendary fingerstyle guitarist Phil Keaggy, is going to be part of that. Lots of great players from right here in Nashville are going to be doing workshops and jam things. Greg Voros is going to be there. If you've never been to one of our conferences, it is an absolute blast being in a room, hanging out with guitarists that are, 10, 20 feet from you, some of the best guitarists on the planet. It is really, really cool. You know what I get a lot of is I get a lot of people saying, I'd like to come, but I'm just starting out. I'm just kind of a beginner or maybe an intermediate player. I don't know is there anything for me? I don't know if I would fit in. There's a ton for that. It's not like everybody has to be Steve Vai. That's not who we're aiming for. We're aiming to help the beginner and the intermediate player. So, and I can't think of a better thing to do than to get away from your life for a few days, come here and just get saturated with guitar. Get inspired by some of the great folks, but just to sit down and realize we're all guitar players, all learning and trying to get better on our instrument. And so, yeah, don't feel like you got to be I got to be good in order to come. Maybe the Tommy Manuel camp, then you probably should be pretty good, or the Martin Taylor camp, then you should be a pretty good one to do that, because I think Martin Taylor only takes like 20 people in his camp. So, but here you could come to Nashville, get away from your life for a few days, and come and learn and hang out with some new friends and meet some of your guitar favorite people. It is an absolute great place. Check it out, guitargathering2018.com. Guitargathering2018.com. We won the Acoustic Guitar Magazine's Silver Award, Player's Choice Award for Best Guitar Camp a few years ago. And actually this month in the Acoustic Guitar February issue, we are one of the camps that is featured for Best Guitar Camps in the nation. So check us out. You can also join our Guitar Gathering Conference, 2018 Conference, Facebook page as well if you're just interested in keeping up and part of that. Another thing for you to join, we're going to be switching over. In fact, we have switched over. I still have Ustream going, but everything is going to start to be on our YouTube Guitar Gathering page. So if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube Guitar Gathering page, we've got 9,000 plus subscribers over there. Check us out over there. Just hit subscribe so you can get the things that we put up, and we put new stuff up. We're going to put it up weekly now with all the things going on. So there you go. Let me give away one more thing. One more tuner from our good friends over at tuners.com, which gave us a ton of these tuners. Now slowly I'm working my way through them all. The winner of this tuner little clip-on tuner, is Tony Kirby. Tony Kirby, you have just won this tuner. Congratulations, Tony. Send me an email at service@mightyoakmusic.com, service@mightyoakmusic.com, and we will send your address, screen name, what you won. That always helps me out, and we will get this out to you. So congratulations on that. All right. Enough of me yabbering on. Let's, let me take that. You can take that out. And let's get to a couple of more questions. We have a couple of questions here. Do you need special strings on a fiddle to tune it to EADG? No, that's the normal standard.
Nope, I use Helicores.
Helicores?
Is what I use. It's more of a softer sound. I like more of a Johnny Gimbel sound.
Yeah.
And
not so harsh.
I don't like anything real bright. I like a good mellow tone.
Yeah.
And that's what I shoot for.
How often do you change strings on a violin?
Every 3 months.
Really?
I do not like a bright string at all. Mm-hmm. Never have. When you put a bright string on, everything sounds really shrill. Mm-hmm. And it takes it depends on your playing time, but if you can play, it takes about 7 days for things to kind of just mellow down. Yeah. But I do not like bright strings on the fiddle.
One of the other fascinating instruments that you have with you that I want to make sure and get to is this Mandocaster.
All right.
Tell us about this amazing animal of an instrument. Play a little bit of it for us, and then we'll talk about what on earth this is and what you can do with it.
Big. Thank you. Yes, this is a Joe Glazer.
Joe Glazer, one of the great guitar.
Joe Glazer mandolin. He built this
repairman and builder here in Nashville.
Yes, and he built this for me a couple of years ago. And I asked him to build me one. Ricky Skaggs had a couple of these he built for him probably 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been fascinated. I am a mandolin player.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an 8-string mandolin, a couple of them at home. And I just really like the sound of the electric 5-string mandolin.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's got the Johnny, this has got the Johnny Gimbel tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
And he built this thing for me a couple of years ago, and I just came to town also to have him look at it. It's a solid body,
Mm-hmm.
a mandolin.
Well, play a little bit of it for us. So let's see, hear what this sounds like.
Y'all okay, guys? It's got a good gimbal sound to it. It's got front pickup and back pickup, tone control, volume control, and looks like a mini Telecaster. Front pickup, back pickup, little thinner.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the front pickups, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, another thing. I like twin. Everything I've told you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I did that.
Yeah.
I went in and put twin parts in here on this from my machine.
Would it be different than it would be as far as the intervals than it would be for the violin?
Yes.
So what is the second part doing here on these?
I've actually I'm running 2 on this. Sometimes you can run 3, but I'll be honest with you, for that or this, to run 4 and 5 parts is too much.
Too much.
It's too overbearing.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've got a third below on this one and a second above.
Okay.
And sometimes I've got one where you can do a third above on top of so a third above and a third below.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as real as it gets. And I've got some benders that I had put on here. They are banjo detuners, but I had them re-geared. The gears for the banjo tuner itself is too long. The gear ratio is too long for the bend, so I had these re-geared for me.
And talk about what a bender does.
It bends
for those that may not be familiar with that.
almost like a steel guitar.
But it bends it just to that pitch.
Right.
So it bends it just from one pitch to the next.
Yes. I want to get your sound guys with me going too hot on this thing. Y'all let me know if they're all...
We should be okay.
Something like, what about Pass Me By?
What key?
G.
I don't know if I know it, but I'll fake it well enough.
Or if I can do it by myself, it's okay. Ready?
Yep.
3, 4, 1, 2. One more time. 3, 4, 1, 2. Would you look what came down the road today? Wanting me to be one more mistake to make. A little bit of it.
I love it.
Total different sound. I'm proud of this thing.
I love it. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So how's it tuned? Tell us how it's tuned.
It's tuned just about like a fiddle. E, A, D, G, and
then the lowest one is actually higher.
it's higher.
So that
So
would
it's
be
an A.
An A.
It should be a C, but again, it's my own little creation of what I've got going for me.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody, but I do know one thing. It really works great for traditional country music, and it works great for Texas swing.
Yep. Yep.
So, Joe Glazer, y'all
Yep.
go by and see him. Got a
Yep.
guitar shop here and a builder, and he's the only guy that ever touches this at all.
Yep.
Go by and check him out. He's here in Nashville.
Okay. Wow. So many things to get to. Thomas Moore is saying, do you read music or just ear? It says tabs, but you really don't have tabs.
Yeah. No, I used to read when I was a kid. When I was first learning to play the fiddle, I was taking violin lessons, and it's really funny. I was doing that for about 6 months, and my professor, I was about 4 years old. My professor told my mom, he said he's not interested. He'll never be a fiddle player. He'll never be a violinist ever. And my dad was a fiddle player, a house fiddle player. He had bands when he was young. Mm-hmm. And about a year later after that, I about turned 5, and I asked him to teach me a song. Mm-hmm. And I'd get over the top of his shoulder in the bed and watch where he'd put his fingers. But to answer your question, I do read a little bit, but mostly by ear.
But probably when you're recording or playing, it is really, in that style, definitely, you just don't see a whole lot of written out notes on a page, dots on a page.
From right here.
Yeah, yeah.
From right here.
Greg is saying, have you tried silicone rubber inserts to cover the holes for feedback reduction?
I have not. That might be a pretty good idea. We need somebody to come up with something on that.
Yeah, you want to make $1 million, figure out how to make a guitar and a fiddle not feedback.
Right.
You would be a very wealthy man. Ian Thompson is saying, what interval do you prefer when twinning with a guitar? I guess it would be just kind of the normal third up, fifth down.
Yeah, scale, the normal scale.
Timothy is saying, do you always use the same bow, or do you have others for special instances? Do bows affect the sound like a pick would be on a guitar?
I'll tell you, it doesn't affect the sound, but I'll be honest with you. There's different bows with different grams of weight.
Weight, okay.
Which would be from here to about here.
Mm-hmm.
This one is 61 grams.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was going to be playing bluegrass music, I'd want something about 42 grams,
lighter.
Which is way, way lighter, so I can do jigs and bop up and down.
Yeah.
But
and even probably Cajun stuff.
Sure,
would be a little bit quicker. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Believe it or not, I have had this bow since I'm 5 years old.
Wow.
It was my dad's fiddle bow, and I've had it that long.
Amazing. Keith is saying, what are the typical time signatures and keys used in Western swing? Well, I can tell you that one.
Go ahead.
Time signatures, you're dealing with 4/4. Sometimes it has that 2-beat, kind of a half-time 2-beat feel. Or you're dealing with 3 waltzes and things like that. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms, that sort of stuff. I'm just in G. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Do you know that? We could do it.
Sure.
My home state, since we're both.
Go ahead and sing it. I'll back you up.
Oh, I don't know if I know the words to it that much.
We'll give them a little bit. Go ahead.
Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a story bookending, I'm lost in your charms. I could waltz across Texas with you. Beautiful, beautiful. We went from Texas to Tennessee to the Tennessee Waltz there. Many of you are asking, we're curious about what the harmonizer physically looks like, and can we get a shot of it? We're working on that, of getting a shot of it. It's actually kind of aimed up, so we may have to, even if you need to move the camera, David, feel free to do whatever you need to try and get a shot of that somewhere along the way there. All right, wow, we have blown another hour of your life. Let's give one more thing away, and then we probably need to land this ship. This is a great CD from our flat-picking friend Dan Bankhurst. He left a few CDs with us. And so we are going to give away this wonderful CD from Dan Bankhurst. The winner of this is Mark Miller. Mark, you have just won this CD from Dan Bankhurst, so congratulations, Mark. And I'm going to throw you guys off. I want to give away one more thing. Jordan, pick another one. I want to give away one more thing. I want to give away my hat. An official Gruen guitar hat. They got in some new ball caps, and these are really cool. So I want to give away this hat. So the winner of this hat is Dale R. Dale, you have just won my Gruen guitar hat that I just picked off the wall there. Send us your information at service@Mighty Oak Music. All of you that have won, John Sikora, Tony Kirby, Mark Miller, and Dale R. Send us your information, service@mightyoakmusic.com, your mailing address, what you won, a screen name if you can. That helps us figure all that stuff out. Helps me as I'm trying to mail things out to everybody. All right. Couple of announcements here before we go. Let me just encourage you as we get going today. You know, I was talking with a wonderful guitarist this morning. I had coffee with Scott Bernard, the guitarist for Kenny Loggins. Been Kenny Loggins' guitar player for the longest time. I was talking to Scott, wonderful man, wonderful player. This morning, we just talked about all kinds of things. And one of the things that I was kind of picking up when we were talking together, you know, a lot of guys feel that from pro players to just average players that you just have nothing to give. You know, I've talked to some of the greatest guitar players around, and some of them have said candidly to me, I don't think I have anything to give. I just got nothing to give. And I was reminded that again as I was talking with Scott today. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're on tour with Kenny Loggins or whether you're just trying to learn guitar inside of your house, okay, and you never get out of your bedroom trying to play guitar. You've got something to give. That's what creating is all about. It's not a talent show of who is the best. I wish I could say, you know, learning guitar or learning fiddle is all about being the best. If I'm the best, then I'm somebody. It doesn't work like that. It's about creating something, getting something out that's inside of you, creating something. It's not about who's the best. So I would encourage you in your own learning, keep up your effort in doing that. What you've got something to give that matters. It means something. Means something to you, means something to your kids, your wife, your family. Keep working at it. Music is worth the effort that you're putting in it. Don't give up on your skill, on your talent. I had a guy on the discussion board talked earlier today, I saw it, that he was saying, last week I talked about the Phil Keaggy finger stretching exercises. I hope you guys have been doing that, these finger stretching exercises that we learned last week on live lessons. And he was just saying how, didn't see results for a couple days, but now it's starting to kick in. That's how it works. Sometimes you learn something and it doesn't kick in for a few days. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. A few weeks maybe. Doesn't mean you're doing a thing wrong. You could be doing everything right. It just takes time to cook, to ferment, before it actually starts to kick in. And now he's saying, I've been doing it for a few days, and now I'm starting to get noticeably more flexible, more of a reach on these various chords. That's how it works. Don't give up on your learning. Don't give up on your talent. Work hard at it. Train it. You didn't get to be on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry by just hoping. There was a lot of practice and a lot of years of working on your craft, on your skill to be able to do that.
Exactly. A lot of, kids have got so much things of entertainment to keep them from doing this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be the best, you're going to have to practice. If you want to strive to be a mediocre player, you're going to have to practice. There was times when all my friends was out playing in the streets and riding bicycles and making mud pies.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be in my room crafting on this thing and woodshedding. And I want to tell you, I'm not the greatest fiddle player that walks the face of this earth, but I get up every day knowing there's someone better than me.
Yeah.
And Gimbal told me, if you wake up one day and you think you're the best and you've got this mastered, forget it. Somebody's going to pass you up.
Yeah.
Always be nice, kind, and ask questions.
Yeah.
If you don't ask questions, you're never going to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I've got to offer.
Try and have your instrument in your hands at least once a day.
Yes.
For your own sake, but also for your craft of learning. So, fantastic. We've got a lot of great things coming up. We had to change gears to have David here with us, and I'm so glad that it worked out.
Thank you.
So we're going to push what I was going to do this week. We'll push that on the next week, so we'll have a live lesson next week talking about chords, changing them faster, better, and stronger. So that's what we're doing. Chords next week will be more of a teaching lesson. And then very excited to let you guys know we have officially confirmed February 20th. Mark it on your calendars. We are going to have International Bluegrass Guitarist of the Year. Molly Tuttle is going to be with us on February 20th. Wow. Go to YouTube and type in Molly Tuttle and enjoy. She is young. She is 25. And she won the Bluegrass Association Guitar Player of the Year. And yes, she deserves it. Take a listen. She is amazing. She's going to be with us here February 20th. So excited to have Molly here with us. Flat picking, bluegrass, that sort of style. It's going to be fantastic. All right. I want to thank our wonderful crew, David, Jordan, Doug, our wonderful moderator. I know we're still working out some issues with the chat on YouTube. We're going to get those worked out soon. But I hope you guys are enjoying our YouTube stream over there. I am loving having it over there.
Can I say hey to a couple of people?
Please.
I was just inducted in my hometown of Port Arthur, Texas.
That's right.
I was inducted into the Music Hall of Fame there, the Gulf Coast
Museum
in Port Arthur, Texas. I'm glad to be along with Janis Joplin, Mark Chestnut, George Jones, Edgar and Johnny Winter, the Big Bopper. And I'd like to say
so many people came out of that area.
Hi to all of the folks there in Port Arthur at the Gulf Coast Museum. Thank y'all for being with us here.
Yes, yes.
Why don't we close with how about Faded Love?
Sure.
Can we do that?
Sure. As I was preparing for this, you had given me all these songs to take a listen to. You know, I don't talk about it very much, but there was really only one kind of music that was playing in our house when I was a kid, and that was this old-time country music. Now, I didn't appreciate it when I was a teenager, it was just not, it was always around, but it wasn't what I particularly was into. And I must admit, I haven't listened to these songs in literally decades, but every one of these songs you did, as soon as I pulled it up on YouTube, I go, yep, I've heard this 1,000 times.
Let's just do a little intro, and if they want to, how do y'all do this? Fade out on something, or you say goodbye to everybody?
I'll just say goodbye. We'll just play a little bit and then do it.
Let's do it the old Will's way, just a fiddle by itself, and then we'll bring in 3 fiddles.
All right. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
so
for
much
having
for
me.
being here. Keep up the great work in your learning. We will see you guys next time.